All right, welcome back to the Matt's Antique Auto Repair Podcast. So, just by the name, you'd think, well, he just does cars. And that's for the most part true. But I do include everything. In the general description of my channel, I like to generally say that not only we do cars, but we do life talk. We do, current events, but more importantly, me being a failed musician, we do music. Because I love music, I always do, always will. And I'm going to do fun little segments about music-related stuff as well. And as I was driving my 86 Dodge Aries K car earlier, the idea popped in my head. They said, I'll do a top 10 list of my just because I want to be really exciting. And I said, nothing would be more exciting in the world with all the channels on YouTube with 1 billion subscribers than if I made a top 10 list written on loose leaf paper about my top favorite 10 soft rock songs of the late 70s. So I said, what the hell, you never know when your number's up, so I might as well rattle this list off. And maybe you'll enjoy it, maybe you'll just fucking, press X out, and I wouldn't blame you. But, here we go. So anyway, as I read them off, I'll try to give you either a brief backstory of my connection with the song, as in how it hit me, or just some factoids that are fun if you're drunk enough. But, first, number one I wrote is funny, and I wrote these as they came to mind. But the first one is We Just Disagree by Dave Mason. And, this is a great song for my reason being, at the time I was working at a Ford dealership, which I've mentioned in a previous video, Newlands Bayshore Ford, Long Island, New York. And it was one of the oldest fucking dated ass 80s carpet, friggin' wood paneled dealerships left on the island. And I'm talking 2018, so this shit was like a museum by that time. But anyway, it was cool because I worked my way up to get my own office, and the only thing they played in the whole dealership was the Bridge Sirius XM radio. And if you've never heard the Bridge channel, this is all it is. It's soft rock, baby. That's all it is. It's like, Firefall in England, Dan and John Ford Coley, and Seals and Crofts, and maybe they're feeling adventurous, some Hall and Oates, But anyway, it grew on me a lot. The music grew on me, not only because it was peaceful, beautifully composed music. It's a beautiful, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful time period in our American, in English or whatever, worldwide musical history of contributors, just amazing artists. But, it was also the music my parents, brought me up on. That's what they listened to, stuff like that. So it was just a natural in for me. But, so that one would always come on. We Just Disagree by Dave Mason. And Dave Mason, if you've never heard of him, well, I'm sure you've heard of him. But if you don't listen to him, you should definitely check his catalog. I mean, he played with, I believe, Traffic and, a few other bands, whatever. A huge solo career. Delaney and Bonnie and Clapton, I believe. Just so many artists. He's worked with everybody. Covered a lot of beautiful songs. So that was number one. Number two, Steal Away by Robbie Dupree. Really fun song. I don't know if you ever heard this song, because I believe for more or less it's a one-hit wonder. But it's a fun song. It's just one of those ones that if you know it, you know it. And if you don't know it and you hear it, you'll know it forever. That's the best way I could describe that one. Number three has a really cool backstory that I learned through a gentleman I work with. But it's called I'm Not in Love by 10cc. Now, for you to know it, you know those funky effects right away. Now, I learned later on that what they did was they actually duplicated the backup vocals tens of thousands of times or something crazy like that. And that's how they got those amazing kind of monk chants throughout that whole thing, which is really cool. But yeah, 10cc, beautiful song and an amazing band. So if you never checked that one out, definitely check. I'm not in love, so please forget. It's just awesome, amazing song, timeless. Number 4, this is a really fun one. Thunder Island by Jay Ferguson. Now this is another one you probably never hear on the radio, but you might have years ago, like locally here on Long Island. We used to have a station called B103. Now, B103 was like the last of the old-ass boomer radio stations that played old stuff. Before, like, late 60s. They'd play, like, Dion and the Belmonts, and they'd play Frankie Valli, and all kinds of stuff. And, on Sunday nights, they had a segment called Roots of Rock and Roll. And it was awesome. It was just great. And I learned so many 50s doo-wop songs from that segment. But in the daytime, you'd hear late 70s. That was a popular era to play on the radio. And Jay Ferguson, Thunder Island was definitely one of them, fun story, he's kind of just like talking about an old spot that he'd take it, him and his lover would escape to or something. Just a cool song. I thought it was cool to mention it. I always enjoyed it. It always put me in a good mood. So next on the list we have, of course, Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. Now this song, it kind of speaks for itself, Growing up, I always just liked the melody of the song. And I always just paid attention to the hook or the chorus, whatever, of the song. If you like Pina Colada, you go on. But it was only until I was like in my early 20s that I realized it was a cute moral of the story, And it's pretty reflective of a lot of lovers, I think, which is that he was getting tired of his girlfriend or his wife, I guess, and he took out an ad, and he got a response, and he listed all these things that he's into. And when he finally meets her, he realizes, spoiler alert, he realizes it's his wife that responded to the ad and they get back together. And I just think it's a beautiful, as dated and overplayed as it probably is at every drunk wedding, I just thought it was worthwhile to include it on here because of its beautiful moral of the story, which I believe is that, true love is true love, and maybe you just need to be reminded sometimes of why you guys are together. And, so thanks, Rupert Holmes, for that one. Number 6, Just Remember I Love You, Firefall. Now this song, beautiful melodies, beautiful instrumentation in the song, kind of speaks for itself, Just a true love kind of song. There's not much more I can say about that one. But Firefall, great band. Had a lot of great hits. Number 7. Now, I think most of you are going to know this one. Brandy, quote, "You're a fine girl," by Looking Glass. There's a court on a western bay. Just beautiful song. That one kind of speaks for itself, too. But that was a big regional song. Like, you'd walk in any seafood restaurant in Suffolk County or, just down by the water, and there was always someone playing fucking Brandy, whether it was near the bar, someone sitting on the life preserver section of the fucking stool falling over with Brandy on. And it was just great, It was just everyone's parents played that. If your parents were born like 1958 or between 58 and 65, you grew up listening to Brandy in the house, And it's funny because that brings me to number 8, which I always thought was synonymous with Brandy. For some reason, again, maybe it's a regional thing, but on the radio it always came on after Brandy, which was Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest. And again, another beautifully instrumentated song. Beautiful organ work and guitar effects or guitar riffs rather. And again, these are two pretty much one-hit wonders. But King Harvest, if I remember right, had a really awesome back catalog that I was grateful. I was fortunate enough to listen to one year. I had found like a best hits CD from them. And they got some cool stuff. I can't remember the songs off the top of my head. But yeah, Dancing in the Moonlight is a classic. You just love it. And you always like, have a nice drink and a smoke, or if you don't smoke, that's cool. Listen to Brandy and Dancing in the Moonlight back to back. It's like a magical chemical reaction. Number 9, Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts. Now I know you all probably know this one, man. I mean, I don't even need to refreshen you up on that one. I mean, most people have heard this song. Again, a beautiful, mystical kind of period correct. Living on a beach in a cool fall night in a beach house with the fire going, and you'd be listening to Summer Breeze. I don't know. That's what I always thought. Living on Fire Island with a sweater on, listening to Summer Breeze. That's just how my brain works. But that song always hit me well. And that brings me to number 10, which is a band that I always enjoyed their take on soft rock. I mean, this band contributed so many songs to this genre, and just genres after, just relaxing, meaningful music that may be overlooked as corny by today's standards, but for the time, just unreal, timeless classics. And that is Bread with Guitar Man. And again, just a nice semi-tropical melody, but keeps you in the realm of like a rock song or a story of a rock singer, and I love it. And the story behind this one for me personally is one of the first songs I listened to when I got my first car, and the actual day that I got my license and passed my road test. And back then, man, it was just the best. It was just the best when you passed there and you knew you were free. You didn't have to ask for rides. And I had a 1987 Pontiac 6000 with the grill all smashed out. And I had one of the first aftermarket stereos that offered like MP3 USB drive, and you plug that bitch in, and you could play MP3 files on. And you bet your ass one of those songs was Guitar Man by Bread. And I'd be riding around Babylon, New York, like, who goes to show and plays the baby, it's the Guitar Man. Da-na-na-na-na. And it was more in key than that, but you get the idea. So that's my little list. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to. This is the Matt's Antique Auto Repair podcast, where we talk about not only cars, but life events, current events, life talk, anything, philosophical realms, music, big on music. And we're always open to suggestions in the comments. So please, if you got something cool to say, if you got something important or critique, whatever, I'd love to hear from you. And if you feel so inclined to drop a like or to depress the subscribe button, that would be much appreciated. Again, this is Matt's Antique Auto Repair Podcast, and I wish you all a wonderful evening, morning, whatever time it might be where you are. Be safe, be well, and stay healthy.